Hi, I'm Tudie from Thompson Fresh Market. Today we're going to make one of our very popular dishes that we serve in the Campfire Bistro. It's our crab cakes. It's a super simple recipe, but it's kind of a secret. I don't give it out to anybody, but today I'm going to give it to you. You can use any kind of crab meat you want. We use a blue swimming crab, or the crabs that are local to Louisiana and Texas. This is a crab claw meat. It's a little bit sweeter. You see the bigger chunks, and then in the center it comes out. I like this as a sweeter meat versus even the lump crab meat, but hey, if you want to splurge and go spend 20 or 30 bucks a pound, go right ahead. This one tastes just as great. We're going to use a soft, fresh breadcrumb. It's really important that you don't use like the dried breadcrumbs that you get at the market, you know, in the like the Italian section. If you do that, they're going to suck up all the moisture and your crab cake's going to be dry as dirt. These are soft. We just use a white sandwich bread and grind it up. We're going to have red bell peppers because they're nice and sweet. We're going to use green onions, and a lot of people make a mistake when they say green onions. They think onions, greens. They want to just use the green part of the scallion. The scallion has just as much flavor, or even more, I think, in the white part. So, unless the recipe says green part only or white part only, you want to always chop your scallions all the way down, front to finish. We're going to use a nice fresh parsley. If you have dried parsley at home, you're welcome to use that. If you want to make it a southwestern themed crab cake, you can always go with the cilantro. We're going to use a good heavy-duty mayonnaise like a Kraft or Hellmann's. We're going to use a nice French Dijon mustard, one whole egg, a little bit of black pepper. This is a Creole Seasoning or Cajun Seasoning. You might see it as Tony Cacheray in the store. Or Emerald has a great one that he's got out there. And then good old cayenne pepper sauce. Today we're going to use Tabasco. Alright, we're going to take our red bell peppers and our scallions and saute them up in a little bit of butter. Not a step that you sort of have to do, but I really like it better because you're going to cook the crab cake so briefly. I want to kind of take the harsh edge off of this and that real kind of raw vegetable quality. You want to let this do this kind of ahead of time a little bit and let it sit out so it's not too hot when you put it in there. You don't want to take steaming peppers and green onions and put them in with your mayonnaise and your eggs and crab meat. Okay, that's about enough time. Okay, let's get to making our crab cakes. So we've got our peppers and onions sauteed. That was the first thing we had to do to get our crab cakes ready because we didn't want to put this in there too hot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our good quality mayonnaise. It's about a cup. A couple tablespoons of our Dijon Mustard. I like a lot of it, actually. We're going to take an egg, one raw egg, a little bit of fresh parsley. I like a couple tablespoons in there. I think that it really adds to the flavor. If you have dry, it's okay, just don't quite use as much. We got some Cajun seasoning. We're going to add our black pepper. And we're going to do about a teaspoon of Tabasco. You can use a little more if you'd like. So I kind of do about 20 shakes. It's about a teaspoon. But I like them spicy, so I may do 22, 23, maybe 24. I hope nobody's counting. And then we're going to add our peppers and onions that are sauteed, and they're not too hot. We've let them cool down a little bit. We're going to mix this up. This is kind of our crab cake dressing. If you want to make a bunch of these and then just add your crab at the last second, use it. That's typically what we'll do at the restaurant. We'll make the dressing up. Add the eggs, and so we have all the seasonings in it. Add the eggs and the peppers at the last minute with the crab meat, and then we make our crab cakes. And then to the wet mixture, we're going to go ahead and add our crab meat. This is 1 pound. It's going to make 12 good-sized crab cakes, or you can make a bunch of minis. We're going to do the recipe. Obviously, you're watching me on YouTube, so we have our recipe for this posted on our website. Now we're going to add our soft breadcrumbs. Maybe a little bit at a time, and just kind of like gently fold those in. This mixture's going to have to sit a little bit before you form your crab cakes because you want to let the soft breadcrumbs absorb the liquid that's in the mix. And as you can see, I'm taking care not to break my crab up too much, especially if you're going to use the lump crab. If you're going to spend that kind of money, you want people to know that you've spent it. Alright, so the mixture's beautiful now. We're going to let it rest probably about 10 minutes or so, and it's going to absorb all the liquid. Flavors are going to get well distributed, and then we'll come back and make our crab cakes. Our crab cake mix is rested. I'm going to use, this is about a 2.5 ounce scoop. Basically, you don't have to have a scoop. This does facilitate it a little bit easier. And I just take and just kind of round them off. What I'm going to do first is divide it into 12 balls. If I don't get them all exactly the same the first time, I can go back and take a little bit off and, you know, divide it out. 4. So that'll be 12 beautiful balls on there. Another thing too, you can use a tiny scoop, or you can divide these and make little mini crab cakes. You could take, this would be like if you did it by 2, that'll be that size. You could take 1, divide it by 3, that would get you 36. I wouldn't go any smaller than that because they're going to be real kind of hard to bread and turn and things. So I would do probably 36 on this as the minis as the smallest size. Alright, now that we've got our crab cakes put into what size little portions we want to do, we've got our extra breadcrumbs here. And if you don't have enough of those, if you have any panko crumbs in your fridge or in your pantry, these are awesome to use. We actually use these at the restaurant too. They make a nice crispy exterior, and they don't get soggy. So this would leave a nice crunchy exterior, which is, I actually really like them like that. So, make sure we have a little wet hand. I'm going to take this crab cake, start out patting it flat, and just kind of like when you're making a hamburger, you don't want to over-process it. If you keep messing with it, it's going to make it tough. So get it into kind of a flat little drum shape. We want about 3 inches across and about 3/4 to an inch tall. So once you have these done, you want to take and put it in your crumbs, nicely patted out. They're pretty delicate, so you know, you don't want to have them, you don't want to mess with them too much, and you don't want to, like I said, be mean to them. You want to be very gentle. So that's our finished crab cake. There's our mini size. And then we'll come back and let those refrigerate, finish all these up, and let them refrigerate, chill for maybe 30 minutes, up to the day before the event. Alright, so we've had our crab cakes chilling. Here's the little ones that we did. I'm going to get your pan hot before you put them in. Don't put them in cold oil, because then it'll just soak up all that olive oil. And I like to use just straight olive oil. You can use canola oil if you'd like. Get them in, move that oil around a little bit, give them a little shake so they don't stick. I love using a non-stick pan for this because it's going to allow the crumbs to get nice and crispy without overcooking the product. And if you want to do them for a party, what you can do is what I do a lot of the times, just brown them on both sides pretty good, and then put them aside. And then what we'll end up doing is putting them back in the oven just for a couple of minutes to finish them up. Let's see, I'll check this one. Oh, beautiful. Good color on that one. Here's our little tiny mini. Beautiful. Alright, so we got them turned, and they'll take usually a couple of minutes on each side. My pan was good and hot going in, so. We serve these at lunch on our salad like this. We also serve this as an appetizer at night. And then you can also get it as an entree. This is a great item to order for catering. We can do them in mini size, or we can do them in the big ones for you. Easy to reheat. You can pick them up already cooked and cold, and then, you know, half an hour before you're ready to serve them, pop them in your oven. They're a delicious treat.